When are we gonna ask ourselves, Peter Jackson, are you okay? First with The Hobbit? Actually, first this movie. Then The Hobbit? King Kong was in there somewhere? Meet the Feebles? Peter Jackson, are you okay? Someone check in on this man. 63-year-old Kiwi movie director of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The best fantasy trilogy, the best trilogy, arguably ever, has made a splatter flick that is disgusting. It is a B movie by all means, and it was before all of the Lord of the Rings. It was before all of that. 1992's rated R horror comedy, I guess kind of comedy, Dead Alive, also known as Brain Dead. Say it with me now. This is the best movie I have ever seen in my entire life, and this time I am not exaggerating. I love this movie. I love this movie, and I recognize that puts me on a couple lists. That puts me on at least a list, the bad taste in movies list. This movie is hilarious and disgusting. Not really disturbing. Well, it's disturbing if you don't like gore, but it is just carnage. It is The Substance, 2024. So many inspired movies. I mean, it is a zombie movie, and I love it. I love every single second of it. I think I've rewatched this movie about 5 different times, and the first time I saw it was probably like a year or 2 ago. So not that long ago. And I've already rewatched it so much. It is so good. It is so good. I can't emphasize this enough. 1 hour and 44 minutes long, ladies and gentlemen. It is over the 90-minute mark. I fully understand that, but my eyes are tied to the screen every single time I watch this movie. I have it on in the background sometimes. Why? It's a disgusting movie. It's the vibes, bro. It's the vibes. Just trust me. And every time I'm just stuck just looking at this freaking movie, especially once the metaphorical shit hits the fan. The zoo scene. Everything else before that, hey, don't get me wrong, I love the wholesomeness, the New Zealand relationship, the Romeo and Juliet of Paquita. I love Paquita, okay? And I love the start of the movie, but let's be honest, like, why are we here? Why are we talking about Brain Dead? It is for the carnage of my ears and eyes and eyeballs and nose and mental capacities for the rest of the day. The ability to function after watching this movie is severely hindered, not only because I am in a euphoric state after watching this movie, but because I am just perplexed. I find myself asking this question a lot. How did this get made? How did this get made? How did this get made? And yet, I look at The Substance, 2024. Pretty much the same ending. Pretty much. You know what? I just had a realization. The Substance had a very similar ending to Meet the Feebles. If instead you replace the hippo with Eliza Sue Monstro Eliza Sue, was that her name? So overall, like, Substance taking influence from early Peter Jackson movies. Hey, not the worst place to take your influence from. You know what I'm saying? Like, And the substance had the shining influence. We're not talking about the substance. We're not talking about Meet the Feebles. We're talking about Dead Alive. This is, as I lick my lips, this is the best movie ever. I watched this movie the first time and I had to turn it off. I walked away, but then I came back. I probably walked away for like a day or 2 days, but I kept thinking about the movie. I was like, no, hold on, I really, like, I want to give it a shot, and just something about it just like really drew me in. I think it's the gore of the zoo scene specifically, where not only is the bite from the rat monkey thing horrific, like, dear Lord, it is absolutely horrific, but then the mom, like, stamps out, like, absolutely curb stomps the rat monkey. And, like, those are great practical effects. It looks great. Like, it holds up. It really, really holds up. The ending. Practical effects of the ending. It's a little, it's a B movie, though, right? Like, they did it, and I'm happy that they did it. And they got away with it. Those bastards. They definitely got away with it. And it works, but yeah, out of all the stuff that holds up in the movie, the bite, the zoo scene is so memorable. So memorable. Like, it starts off with this nice date, and then the mom doesn't want her son to fall in love with Paquita, and it's just so Hollywood. It's so movie. It is so movie. And I love that, okay? I love, like, cheesy, kind of like theatrical stuff, right? But then you get into this horrific. Like, after that zoo scene, the movie just goes and goes and goes and goes. So the mom has the women's union? Is that right? I haven't watched this movie very recently, but it's the women's union that's coming over, and they have, like, dinner. And that's before, or that's after, rather. That is after the mom is in bed and she's like, oh, my wound, replace my bandage for me, oh. And then she, like, it's so nasty. The practical effects are so good for the wound, the pus, and the scabbing, and yeah, just the wound in general on the mom's arm looks so good. Makes me want to vomit every single time. And then, as I was going with the women's union, they come over for dinner. That was the scene that made me turn it off. The pudding scene. He was like, oh, it's been a while since I've had... Don't judge my Kiwi accent. Just don't. It's been a while since I've had this pudding. My wife's been... She hasn't been cooking me pudding recently. This'll be nice. Oh. And then she, like, squirts her... like Spider-Man. She, like, squirts her wound into the guy's porridge, and then he eats it, and it's just like... And then, oh, dude, like, I'm just cringing thinking, like, and it's full body goosebumps, like, it's so bad. But it's good. Trust me, it's good. It's good, trust me. And then the ear falls off, and it's, oh, God, I won't spoil all the details. Go watch it yourself. The other thing I want to talk about is the sound. The guzzling sound. God, it haunts me. Like, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure it was in his other movie, Bad Taste, as well. Released before this movie. But it's this, like... It sounds like this, like... You know when you go to the dentist, and, you know, they, like, pour water in your mouth, or they spray water in your mouth, and then they bring, like, the air suction tube, and they go... And they suck out all the moisture in your mouth, right? That's exactly what it sounds like, except instead of there being, like, water, there's, like, chunky blood being sucked through this tube. So it just sounds like gurgling. Like, very much so gurgling. It sounds like... it actually sounds hellish. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know how they got that sound. It sounds like a Lord of the Rings, like, orc kind of sound. It sounds like the orc was, like, trying to blow his nose, or he was trying to, like, I don't know, like, breathe. And his lungs just had a lot of mucus on them. It is a horrific sound. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Go watch the movie. Like, woo! Whew! Because we are getting into spoilers. This zombie scene, it's so good. With the zombie headlamp, so creative, just so good. And you just don't see that, man. You just don't see that nowadays. How did this get made in the 90s? You just don't see that creativity, and you don't see people pushing the envelope. Sure, there's like Terrifier 3 out there, but there's a reason why I rewatch this movie and not Terrifier 3. If you don't know my opinion on Terrifier, it's this. I love Terrifier. It's the best movie I've ever seen in my entire life. No joke. I also recognize that the story of the first one is non-existent, the second one is pretty long, and the third one is, the second and third one are obviously, like, absolutely horrific to watch. And they are pretty hard to rewatch, but I do still rewatch them every now and then. It's just like, this movie has a charm to it. I don't think it's the B horror status. I think it's just I think it is the zombie aspect, so it feels a little more horror, with more horror. With the theme of zombies, as opposed to a killer clown. Sure, like, a killer clown is a slasher movie, but yeah, Terrifier is more so about, like, the gore, and yeah, maybe a little bit about, like, the family. What was her name? The main girl? What's the main girl's name in Terrifier? Leave it down below in the comments. I have no idea. Oh yeah, I've rewatched this movie tons of times. I think it's the creativity. Because you can, Terrifier is creative, and you can kill someone in a creative way, but this movie has a different level of disgusting. Like the dinner scene with the women's union, or with just the lawnmower at the very end, and there's just, like, so much destruction. And then, yeah, man, like, the zombies, like, it's just a fun movie, man. This is a fun movie, and Terrifier is like, oh, okay, yeah, it's fun for the carnage candy, but then after that, it's, like, kind of like, alright, cool, so we're just killing people. If that's what you want, I like it too. Don't get me wrong, I like it too. But this movie is just damn fun. It is outright fun, and you should 100% check it out, because I'm about to spoil the very, very ending. As I said before, it is very similar. Very, very similar to The Substance. You have the big monstro at the very, very end. And when I was watching The Substance for the first time, this is the exact movie that I thought of. I wasn't thinking about The Shining, I was thinking about this movie. And this movie is so much better than The Substance. Not a competition, though. This movie's climax is satisfying. The characters of Bakita and the other guy, the main guy, Mr. Timothy Balm. I'm just very, very satisfied when I watch this movie. And I really have no explanation for it, I guess. Like, the zombies and killings are fun, the transformation at the end is awesome, and it's bad, and it's funny, and it's slapstick. I think it's meant to be funny, for sure. I don't think it's supposed to be a dark comedy, or a horror comedy. Maybe it is, but, like, man, this movie is just it just got my legs kicking. And It has my toes curling. I love this movie so much. I guess the one thing would be like just like the killing of the animals is like not cool. I feel like, gosh, but when his step brother, right? That's the person who like comes over, and then the mom is like in the basement, like trying to break out. It's fun. It's fun. I won't spoil all the details, you guys. I could just talk about the plot of the movie and say it's fun over and over again. Trust me, this is the best zombie movie I think I've ever seen. Wow. I just now realized that. Right before your eyes. I can't think of a better zombie movie. This is my favorite zombie movie. Good job, Peter Jackson. Why did you make this? How did you make this? I must ask. I must repeat my question. Are you okay? How's your mom? How's your relationship with her? Like, it really is very curious how you come up with these ideas and pitch them to professionals and get all these people to make this kind of movie. It's inspirational for sure. It's also like, wow, very baffling. So let me know what you thought of this video and of this movie down in the comments below. Leave a like, consider subscribing. Let me know, do you think Peter Jackson's okay? What is Peter Jackson's mental state, in your opinion? Let's talk about it down below in the comments. See you guys. Bye-bye.